The big story on Friday was the banning of Asmongold for 2 weeks on Twitch after something that he said. Now, a little background. Kay, you did not hear about what Asmongold said or his banning. Is this correct?
I saw a headline say Asmongold banned on Twitch, and my brain went, everyone gets banned on Twitch every day and then comes back like a minute later. So that's the extent of what I know.
Well, this is a 2 week banning, and the premise is they were talking about borders and specifically what was going on in Spain and the invasion that you saw. Have you seen the video of the people invading this portion of Spain, coming over on their boats, and it's like hundreds of military-aged men who are just bum rushing the coast? Have you seen this at all?
No, I feel like I'm living under a video game rock right now. I've been gaming too much. I have no idea what's going on in politics.
It looks like a zombie, like a literal zombie horde of people. It's just chaos. Think of like World War Z. That's what it looked like.
Terrifying.
It's not good.
Yeah.
Not good.
Yeah, so let me see if I can find this video of Spain for you, because it's a lot. It's a lot, and that's what kind of spurred the entire thing. Here you go, Kay. This is what we saw, and this was what they were speaking about, where it's just,
Oh my god.
it does look straight out of World War Z.
Yeah.
Where these dudes are just bum rushing. They're all coming in on their boats, and they're
they
trying
get in
to
the
get
streets, and then they start running everywhere. I don't know how real the video was, but if the video was real, you see people running in the streets, that someone stabs someone in the neck. Again, if it's real, but it was crazy.
It's quite literally an invasion.
You know why they're doing it, right?
Demir?
Well, so the Spanish, in their infinite wisdom, elected a guy who's basically a communist, and the Spanish government thought it'd be a wonderful idea to institute new policy where no matter what, however you somehow get onto Spanish territory, you must be afforded the rights of due process before they will deport you. So everybody took that as open season to make it to any Spanish territory they possibly could get their feet on, knowing that it would take forever for them through the Spanish system to be sent back. So, because it's a little bit easier to obviously simply cross the water over on African territory from Morocco, that's literally what they decided to do as their first port of entry into Spain, and thought that they could all just go there and simply wait in those two little enclaves, if you will, until they were deported, which could have taken months to years after the fact that they made it. And by then they can use that as a launching point to get into Spain proper, which then would get them into the Schengen zone, which is why every other country freaked the fuck out and said, we're going to kick you out of the Schengen zone if you let this continue. It is a whole fucking mess.
Okay. So, Kay, what you need to know about that, with all that background, is that essentially what Asmongold said to get himself banned was these people are invading. Oftentimes, they will use children as shields. There's children coming in with them. In this instance, there's not. But what Asmongold said was, hey, if they're invading, you shoot them, children included. Because if you don't, they're going to continue to use these children as shields, as empathy. And he cites examples of, soldiers in, I think we actually talked about this on Friday, soldiers in Vietnam, where children would go up to them and they would more or less, do bad things to soldiers. But, hey, it's like they're children, So he said this, and everyone's like, oh, Asmongold's a child killer, right? He wants to kill children, right? And that's where we got to him being banned for 2 weeks.
It's about hostile invaders. It's not specifically about children. And yeah, absolutely. That's always been a weapon of war, to use children as bait, whether it's through the media to emotionally play on our heartstrings to make us feel bad for migrants, or, in the way of actually physically having a child go up and distract a soldier. This is documented for decades at this point. So yeah, no, once again, it's a common sense take that, yeah, he's getting shit for. So,
well, he went in and he did a quick video about it. He had some health issues. He didn't even know he was banned, but he did a video on YouTube where he's like, oh, I didn't even know. But he did not apologize. Came out and said this. Oh, he said this.
I probably do dial it up a little bit too much, and maybe I could use different rhetoric, etc. But I want to let you know that I apologize for nothing. I meant exactly what I said, and I think that these borders should be defended with lethal force whenever it's being invaded by 40 to 60,000 people at the same time. That's an incredibly dangerous thing for all the people that live in that country, and I don't think that a government has an obligation to allow a bunch of invaders to pour over and potentially kill their own citizens. I find this to just be horrible, and ultimately it should be stopped. Also, there are a lot of other patterns, like I'll give another parallel to this as well, is that in a lot of gang culture, what they do, and this is, of course, nothing like this is a monolith, but many of people like this, what they do is they'll use children to commit crimes because they know the children will not be sentenced in the same way that an adult will do. And what my biggest argument for all of this is that I generally, and I know people might not believe this, I think most people do believe this, but the people that don't like me don't believe this, or they don't want to, is that I think that I really do have the most moral and ethical position on this. Because the moment that you create an incentive, you also drive a behavior.
It's a pretty base statement. The moment you create an incentive, you drive a behavior. And we've seen that in society in countless examples. Welfare, right? Or examples of incentivizing childless homes, right? You set a standard, then people will ultimately abuse it. That's pretty much what he's saying right there. But he did what I feel like he needs to do, and not back down, and kind of expand his thoughts on there. Now he says, maybe my rhetoric is a little extreme, but I think that people will take it to the extreme when it comes to anytime you have any sort of bend to the rules. Mitsu, you were talking about that a second ago. Like, this was people are going to be in this area, and as soon as that popped in, they were crossing the border or whatever to get in, right?
Yeah, they knew. The Moroccan government tried to say that there was false information that was being spread that caused all of these people to decide to swarm on the border like that. But it was always going to come. The Spanish literally changed their immigration rules to the new standard in, I think it was like July 17th. They passed this and the news came down of all of it. It took them 3.5 weeks for everybody to figure out this is open season and we can just try and cross the border however we need to. And they recently changed the way that you can cross the border into Gibraltar as well, to and from that area. So it's a very short swim all the way across, and then you're immediately granted access to the EU zone. A lot of EU states are going to have a big fucking problem with that, and very, very fucking soon. So that could cause a lot of issues for Europe in the near future.
This seems like a pretty good little meme right here. Like, if you don't want your kids to get shot, then you don't take them to the place where they can get shot. Right? It seems like a pretty...
The factory, yes.
Right. Yes.
I love this meme.
The get shot factory right here, you know?
Oh, is that Nork?
It's good to see him.
New Jersey joke.
I was going to say, don't know the Nork reference, but this seems like such a basic take, which naturally people have taken and they've gone and they go, well, now he wants to kill babies. It's like, I'm sorry, what? Like, it seems like people obviously going to talk about taking things to the extreme. That is what people have done with his statement. That's a perfect example of it. But Phoenix, do you feel like Asmongold not backing down here? You talk about never giving an inch. I feel like he's not really giving an inch here. He's just saying, look, maybe I could tone down my rhetoric a little bit, but I'm taking him there just because it needs to be said.
First of all, it's always fun when that side is arguing for the lives of babies that they voluntarily kill constantly. Yeah. But attaboy. That's exactly it. You never apologize ever. It's futile. First, it makes absolutely no sense. Your own base is not. By the way, when I say this, let me rewind. When I'm saying when you really are not sorry, obviously, right? So if you really aren't sorry because you don't think you did anything wrong, by apologizing, you fuck over your own base, and then you move the needle nothing as far as gaining momentum, as far as the debate that's out there. And you're also definitely not going to please the zombie horde. So it's a completely stupid thing to do. So attaboy, he understands what he's doing, and more power to him. I wish more people did that.
Well, this is, I think the one thing when it comes to Asmongold is he doesn't need to stream. he's talking about, well, I'm going to worry about my health, and maybe I'll just take a vacation, and when I come back, I'll come back. And it's like, cool, because his audience is still going to be there. But it's amazing. It's amazing to see people attack and once again take these things that he says, and people will hear these things on the surface and go, wow, that's really, really bad, and they'll use it to attack him for his immoral thought process or whatever that they deem immoral. Which, as he pointed out, Phoenix, like there's a lot of irony of these people who are like, yeah, don't kill the babies.
Yeah, and like wearing shirts about like proud, killer of, like 10 abortions or whatever. Like, yeah, no, this is ridiculous.
All right. Good on him for not apologizing.
Yeah, and I actually liked how he did it, because he goes, listen, he actually did, like, he heard a criticism and said, okay, maybe I can deliver it a little differently. That said, I apologize. Perfect. Like, that's the best thing you can possibly do. I heard your thing. Okay, maybe I can course correct in a way. I can deliver it a little differently. But anyway, I don't apologize for the meat of it. That's perfect.
It also doesn't matter if he course corrects or not. It's like when you hear people talk about Trump, for example, right, with TDS, and they just constantly say things. And half the time my response was, I wish he was that cool. He's not. He is not doing these things that you think that he does to this extreme. So it doesn't matter how middle of the road you are, how much you try to appeal to people, to soften it, to try to deliver better. They're always going to take the worst thing possible that they can correlate from it and attach it to you as a person. That's why I just always speak in extremes, and I don't care. I'm just I will say any word under the sun. I will say anything that makes someone mad, and usually 99% of the time I believe it. 1% of the time I'm joking. But it doesn't matter, because they're going to throw the deepest labels on you anyway. So there's no point in trying to push those labels off. Just, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm racist, sexist, whatever. Who cares?
Who, if y'all think that Asmongold would take it to the extreme, let me tell you somebody who would. God King Emperor Phoenix.
You guys are not ready. When you look at my 10 stage way of doing these things, I was like, would my staff be nauseous around my plan? And they all are. And I'm like, okay, attaboy, you're doing God's work right now. That being me, the God King Emperor's work right there. That's it. Yeah.